to the Ontario Finals all 4 times and won 3 Schmalz Cups, most of any 73's player. In 1978, due to an injury, in just 12 games, he scored 47 points. The Wall of Honor rightfully calls on Len Chittle. Gummer is employed as a teacher at St. Michael's College in Toronto. He retired in 2013. He is married to Janine since 1977. They have 4 children, Andrea, Melissa, Ryan, and Leanne, and along with 6 grandchildren. His favorite memory is handing Bruce Crowder his own hockey stick from the bench, Bruce scoring, and having the discussion later with Louis and Fred as to who would actually be credited with the assist on the goal. Ladies and gentlemen, Lenny Chittle.
Thank you very much. I had to wear the jacket just to get up to size between these 2 Crowder boys. Like, I got to fill out a bit, but anyway. A special thanks to Joe Guerin and the organizing committee for this incredible weekend. I am honored to be part of the inaugural class of inductees. In the business world, prop is a word used on the set of a play or a movie to enhance performance, a prop. There is also a saying that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I played for 4 years for Coach Prp and Coach Moore, and I would absolutely say that those 4 years shaped my coaching style. I coached for over 20 years at St. Michael's College School in Toronto, and I use Prp's prop at least once a year. Most of you are wondering, what is Prp's prop? You need 2 things for Prp's prop to be successful. First, you need a terrible performance by several members of your team. Secondly, you need a full garbage can. Allow me to set the stage. It was mid-season, we were playing Dresden in our barn. Louis Gagnon had picked up his 3rd elbowing penalty. You know, the Red Wings had Gordie Howe, we had Lou Gagnon. Norm Cadillac Kerr got his usual tripping penalty for trying to keep up. And Freddie Gagnon tried to disguise a hooking penalty, but left his stick behind underneath the guy's armpit. And then, to top this off, Donnie Chittle went out and got a 10 misconduct because he thought the ref was doing a terrible job. I'm pretty sure Donnie didn't say terrible. So when we went into the dressing room between the 2nd and the 3rd, Prp's prop was set into motion. The garbage can had been strategically placed in the center of the room. We were waiting for Coach Prp to come in, and then it happened. Prp came in, he kicked that garbage can around the room, plastic water bottles, garbage, tape filled the air. It was like Hurricane Hazel had come through our dressing room, just like it hit Essex County back in October 1954. By the time the garbage settled, Coach Moore, Wally, Frank, Lee, and Jonesy, Rich were all hiding in the shower, waiting for things to be cleared. I can't remember Prp's exact words, but the message was something about playing hockey the right way. All kidding aside, thanks to Wally for allowing me to play roller hockey for Essex the year before, to help showcase my drive and talent to play for the 73's. Wally, your quiet demeanor and friendly smile was and still is contagious. And to Coach Prp and Moore, thanks for allowing me to be part of the 73's organization and for acknowledging my contribution as an inductee to the Wall of Fame. Thank you very much.
Len, don't go anywhere. We've got a special award for you. A special piece of Wall of Honor hardware just for you. Congratulations. He was the first captain of the Essex 73's and enjoyed 2 full seasons with orange, black, and white. 4 points per game. Fred is retired from Chrysler Canada and is married to Linda, as they have 2 children and 5 grandchildren. One of his favorite memories Fred points to is his first year as his favorite moment, despite the heartbreak of losing in the league finals to Leamington. He would learn that the league would bump the age limit eligibility up 1 year, and the next season, the 73's got back at Leamington and won the league final. Welcome, Fred.
Thank you. Wow, 50 years. How time flies. I am truly, truly honored to be inducted with these 35 great men. Thanks to the executives who started the franchise and all those who have made it a class organization for 50 years, and especially the current executive and volunteers for this amazing weekend. Maybe a little applause for them. My journey here started with the best hockey mom in the world. She raised 15 kids, and with 10 boys, she lived at the arena. When the 3 of us played for the 73's, she felt like she hit the jackpot. She was a big bingo player. Mom did like to heckle the referees a little bit. If they missed a penalty, she'd shout, "Ref, give your head a shake, your eyeballs are stuck." And then there'd be a few other words I can't repeat. Thank you, Mike Sadler, for bringing me and Lou over from the Royals. It must have been tough giving up a few pucks and a couple of broken hockey sticks. I think you overpaid. I'd like to acknowledge a few coaches. Mr. Turville, I can still hear that booming voice screaming at me to get back in defense. Mr. Waldron, with that turtleneck, was a majestic figure behind the bench. And between periods of a big game, we always got a spoonful of honey. My last 2 coaches, Dave Moore and Dave Prpich, they knew when to use us. If we had a 1-goal lead late in the game, me, Lou, and Norm had our asses stuck to the bench. Lou and Norm weren't very good defensively. The 74-75 season was hectic. I married the love of my life in August of that year. Just before the season started, she didn't really like hockey, but she did like the fighting. Luckily, Lou was on the team. I put a lot of hard work in between St. Clair and the 73's. But marriage was a lot of hard work too. We wanted our kids right away. No wonder I was always tired. When I think of the 2 years I played with the 73's, it always brings a smile to my face because of the great teammates I played with, especially Lou and George. In closing, I'd like to thank the selection committee for all their hard work. However, if you had selected only one out of me, Lou and George, obviously I would have felt awful for Lou and George. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Norm Kerr.
I knew I was going to have to get back at Lenny, but I didn't think I'd have to get back at Freddie as well. Jeez. Thank you to the selection committee for this wonderful, wonderful recognition. It's hard to believe that it's been 50 years since we played in the old Essex Arena that used to be next door. I was fortunate to live right down that street on St. James, and remember as a young boy walking to a practice or a game being half dressed and my bag over my back. Fast forward a few years and fresh off back-to-back All-Ontario Midget Championship appearances, Scoot would remember those 2, both years against Bowmanville. We won one and lost one. Being able to play junior hockey in Essex and for the first ever Essex 73's team was exciting for all of the players who were selected. A great first season finished suddenly with an unexpected loss in the playoffs and made for a pretty long summer. Perp was brought in to coach the following year. The lineup was retooled a little bit. and we won the first All-Ontario Junior Championship here in Game 7. Playing with Freddie and Louie, and Bruce and Keith, and I don't know how many Chittles, to be quite honest. There were a lot of them. But that gave us lots of offense. And we always had Skip and Quinter and Prpich in case things got a little nasty. And that certainly helped in some of us getting the opportunity to play at a higher level after that. And I was very fortunate to go to the University of Pennsylvania, and to this day keep in contact with some of the players that I played with there, both American and Canadian. Like Lenny, my Essex roots led me to coaching for 15 years. Many at the minor midget AAA level in Oakville. And at some of those games, I used to run into Wally Sadler, who was a scout for Kitchener at that time. And he would give me some tips every now and then on how to stop a guy like Stamkos, for example. There wasn't any tips he gave me for Stamkos. Some of you knew my mother, Kerr, who somehow made it to most of our games. She passed a few years ago now, but she's very, very proud today. So many thanks to those who worked so very hard to make the 73's happen 50 years ago. Some of those are fathers and mothers of people in this room. We're indebted to all of you for giving us this opportunity. Congratulations to all of my fellow inductees, and a little shout out to my daughter, Kelsey. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Norm.
So congratulations to all the 73's from those years and forward. A lot of talented hockey players come out of this community. In addition, some of them went on to wear other sweaters, including Memorial Cup, Turner Cup, Spengler Cup, and Stanley Cup championship teams. I would like to introduce a real legend whom many of you perhaps may not know is here with us this evening. He's the father of two of my former teammates for those championship teams. He played 344 games in the National Hockey League in the original 6 for the Detroit Red Wings, Montreal Canadiens, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Back when, well, a smoke was a smoke. And back when they had professional hockey in Toronto. I would like... If Mr. Mark and Jane Reaume could please stand for a second and acknowledge them. I think we also need to mention that some of our former teammates are not here tonight because, well, they're not here. And I think it's only fitting that we take perhaps a mental pause of a few seconds just to acknowledge some of our former teammates who weren't with us this evening. So this evening is of particular significance for me. I have my then girlfriend, now bride, Karen, with me. Karen, I'm very happy you're here this evening. I was very fortunate to play on a line with Len Chittle, a very creative stick handler, playmaker, and Don Chittle was a very prolific goal scorer. What you don't know about these two gentlemen is how painfully shy and uncomfortable and timid they are around speaking in public. Len Chittle, in fact, is not comfortable in speaking. So they have asked me to come up and speak on their behalf. So they both said, Mark, we're comfortable with you taking our 90 seconds. Go ahead and speak on our behalf. And I thought to myself, this is significant. Almost 50 years later, I get 2 passes from 2 Chittles on the same night in an arena in Essex. And it was in front of me, and I saw them coming. The Essex 73's were way ahead of the politically correct diversity, equity, and inclusion targets that are set in most organizations these days. We had wide representation from geopolitical, pronoun-friendly, and language landscape of the day. Many represented the town of Essex. We had representation from as far south as Cotton, far west as Malden Centre, LaSalle, and Emersburg, and from the north we had St. Clair Beach, Tecumseh, and Riverside. We had some from Mason and Woodsley and South Woodsley as well. Some of them had their license and some of us did not. Some had teeth and some did not. For most, English was the first language and was used. Some were center on most nights and some were right wing, and like any organization, there were some left wingers as well. As for personal pronouns, some of them identified themselves as bird, squirrel, pick, speedy, big D, and tiny. Hey, got that out. We had a gummer, a porker, yanker, reamer, and a doobie. Doobies are now legal in the province of Ontario. We had a skip, a lyle, a goon, kraut, shoosh, Cadillac, and 2 Chevys. We had a gorgeous and a Prpich. What is a Prpich? I don't know, but I'm happy that we had one. We had a bagman, an ankles, and a crapper. Crapper was not a nickname. I noticed that Essex Minor Hockey Association is well represented here tonight, so congrats to Essex Minor Hockey for coaches, the volunteers, everyone that made this whole thing click back in the early 60s. They gave many of us a great start in this sport. By the time many of us got to Junior C, we knew how to win. Thank you, Mark. We knew the importance of teamwork, commitment, continuous improvement, and giving your best, whether we won or tied. Congrats and a thank you to all the fans who loyally came out every Tuesday evening to watch a bunch of teenagers play the game that we love. Thanks to the Essex 73's board, management, and coaching staff for putting a very good product on the ice every Tuesday night. Lastly, many of you have your siblings here, and some of you are privileged and still have your parents. I would encourage you to thank them. Thank them all. They all made sacrifices. They all had to come early or stay late, miss the meal or family function because of our love for hockey. I would like to personally thank my parents and Rita for introducing me to the sport of hockey at a very young age. Go Essex, go.
Thanks, Mark. Moving on with the inductees. He played 1 season with the 73's and turned his hockey jersey in for the officiating stripes. After several years officiating junior hockey and semi-professional hockey, he signed an NHL contract in 1992. He was promoted to a full-time referee in the NHL in 1999. He was selected as one of 13 NHL referees to officiate at the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver, including the gold medal game. In 2020, he refereed his 1,500th game and has since retired, but is still employed by the NHL. The Wall of Honor calls Dan O'Halloran. Dan has been married to Michelle for 33 years and has 1 child, Devin. His favorite memories, one cold night in Wallaceburg playing on a line with Gordie Davison and Gordie McDonald. Dan earned the nickname Gordie. When he completed the Gordie Howe hat trick, Dan recalls how special it was to him to come back to Essex and referee in front of his hometown. We have a video for you.
Okay, go ahead. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry I couldn't be there with everybody tonight. I'm up north on our O'Halloran annual family vacation. I am honored to be receiving such recognition as an inaugural Wall of Honor inductee. I'm extremely grateful for the recognition I have received for my success, because I'm very sure there are many others just as deserving of this dignity. I have faced many challenges in my life, but each one of them has only strengthened me to make me the person I am today. Being acknowledged today would not have been possible without the inspiration.
Since Dan can't be with us this evening, accepting his honor is Mike Sadler.
You know, they say if one door closes, another one opens. And that second year when Dan came back, you know, Perp and I decided, you know, not too sure there's going to be room for him. So we brought him in, explained the facts of life to him. You know, a lot of kids get upset, mad, whatever. He says, no, that's okay. Just do some more refereeing and minor hockey. And we saw where that went, so good for Dan. On his behalf, thank you.
Thanks, Mike. A legend in these parts when it comes to coaching at the junior B level and C level. He found success at the B level with the Leamington Flyers, but it was his 9 years in Essex that he won 3 Ontario championships. He won in his very first season behind the bench in Essex in 2002. He won again in 2005, and finally in 2009, where his team went 59-1-1-1 and never lost a game all season long on home ice. His 286 regular season wins are the most coaching wins in 73's history. The Wall of Honor calls Tony Piroski. Tony is married to Melody and they have 3 children and 5 grandchildren. Tony's favorite memories include the 2008-2009 season with the 59-1-1-1 record, no losses on home ice, and won the Schmalz Cup. Tony's favorite memories of his days in Essex are the hundreds of lasting bonds and friendships built over the years. Tony can't be with us tonight, but sent a video acceptance speech.
Hi everyone. Hope everybody's having a good time. Just like to start off by saying how honored I am to be chosen as one of the initial group to go up on the wall. Many thanks to send out to people. Don't have the time to name all names, but I'm going to start with the town of Essex for all the support, both financially and for the fans attending games. You know, you've made it the best junior C organization in the province. The board, both past and present, thanks for everything. Special thanks go out to Bill Waldner and Tom Heenan, no longer with us, but very instrumental in helping me on and off the ice. Joe Garrod, who, thinking outside the box, made this weekend possible. Does a great job, Joe. Keep up the good work. You know, from there, like I said, there are so many people that, you know, I can't name all the names. All the people behind the scenes, you know, from videographers to assistant coaches to trainers, assistant trainers, you just can't name them all. I am going to name a few that are special people to me. We've lost some of these people, you know, Kenny and Doug, you know, passed away. You know, I'd like to sort of recognize them. And as far as the staff goes, like I said, I'm thankful to everybody who crossed paths with me during my tenure there. Special thanks go out to Mr. Hockey, Mr. Essex 73, I should say, Frankie Matthys. I knew every time I showed up early prior to games, and he was the one there when I showed up, everything was going to be okay. So Frankie, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Ron Soupy Campbell was always there to lend a hand in whatever we needed. Pee Wee Prpich, Still with the organization, just did everything that was asked of him and was more help than I think he realizes throughout the years. I can't thank you enough, Pee-wee. You know, my family, my wife Melody, daughters Jessica, Jolynn, and my son Jordy, who both played and coached with me during those years. Also, he gave up his last year junior eligibility so his dad wouldn't have to make any tough decisions that were going to involve some of his friends. So thanks to my family, they were outstanding with support. You know, you move on and, you know, I get to a real good friend of mine now who was with me from the start to the finish, and is Dr. Steve O'Neill, who took the organization to another level because of his skills and his dedication. The players never went without when it comes to medical treatment or medical attention. And Steve, thanks for being a good friend and still a good friend. And like I say, I need to recognize you for sure. You know, going on from there, you know, I had lots of assistant coaches, some young guys who did a real good job, and some of them have gone on to coach, and they're doing fine. But I do need to recognize a few guys. Lee Jones, who my assistant coach for years, just a you know, a good, upstanding person. Always had your back, loyal. Jonesy, you know, a real good friend of mine. Thank you so much for all the years that you helped me, and you helped me enjoy the coaching, especially in Essex. You know, I guess one of the last guys who probably doesn't get enough recognition back in those days, but Jamie McDermott, who is taking over the hockey team now, which tells me the team is in great shape moving forward. But Jamie was as good assistant coach as there is. I don't care what level you're talking about. He kept me in the game as long as I did. He made the job enjoyable. He was that relationship between the players, and his loyalty was second to none, a lot like Jonesy. I just had the perfect people to be around. If I couldn't be successful with the people that surrounded me, shame on me. But Jamie, thanks so much, and good luck in your future coming up here with the hockey team. The most important players or the most important people of all that had the most to do with this is the players. You know, there's over 100 players that took the ice while I was behind the bench, and I'd like to send out a thank you to each and every one of you. It's because of you guys that I'm being honored like this today. It's all you guys. I still never scored a goal or never had an assist. I want to just thank all of you, all the players. Again, I can't name you because I don't have enough time, but you don't realize how important you guys all were to me, and some of the bonds and relationships that we have going forward. I still talk to guys. I've been to numerous weddings. I talk to numerous players every year, especially holiday time. Thank you so much. One special thanks goes out to an old friend of mine who's not with us anymore, Glennie Ivancic. Gone but not forgotten. Class guy, a real good hockey player, and really missed. But Glennie, God bless, man. Thank you very much. Enjoy the weekend. Again, good job, Joe. Did a heck of a job.
To accept the honor on Tony's behalf is his assistant coach for 17 years and the new 73's head coach, Jamie McDermott.
Wow. This dude right here just left me in a pretty good spot. Learning over all the years, standing behind the bench with that guy. I mean, if you don't learn, then it's your own fault, because that guy brings a lot of experience. He teaches you more than just about the game of hockey. He teaches you about life. And I'll tell you what, I'm proud to call him one of my best buddies. So congratulations to Tony. He left me with two responsibilities. One was accepting this award on his behalf, which I'm privileged to do. The other was trying to get Jonesy out of here before closing time.
Thanks, Jamie. He played one season with the 73's and led the team in scoring at just 16 years of age. He played 3 seasons Junior B in Chatham, scoring 51 goals and 104 points in his last year, and won 2 Sutherland Cups. He played at the collegiate level at Michigan State University and was drafted in the 2002 NHL draft by the Atlanta Thrashers. After playing 4 years at Michigan State University, he played 4 years of pro hockey in North America and 8 more years professionally in Europe. The Wall of Honor calls Colton Freder. Colton is employed by Dupuis Synth with Johnson & Johnson and is married to Patricia. They have 1 child, Peyton. Colton's favorite memories is the summer before Colton joined the 73's. A team invited him on a team bonding trip. It was a great introduction to junior hockey and prepared him for the jump from minor hockey to junior hockey. Colton Freder.
Thanks, guys. I was told we had about a minute speech, so I didn't write notes like everyone else did, so I'll keep it quick. First, I'd like to thank everyone who put this on tonight, or this weekend. It's an amazing event. It was nice to come back and play in the game last night. I saw some teammates that I hadn't seen in 20 plus years. Going back to that story about the trip, the team had won the title the year before I got here, and I was just a 16-year-old, and they were celebrating when they went up to Ottawa to go whitewater rafting. And they invited me on this trip. And I'm coming from Harrow, I'm just this quiet little kid, never even had a beer before, and these guys are celebrating after a big celebration, after a big win, and they just welcomed me right in, even though I was just quiet and not talkative. They brought me right in, and it transitioned into the following year. And like I said, it was pretty nerve-wracking being a little guy, and thank goodness I had Sternbauer on my wing, protecting me if anyone even looked at me weird. He was right there to take them out. So it was a great year, and I learned a lot in that first year, leaving minor hockey, and I was very successful moving forward, thankfully. And this was a great organization to learn and take that first step from. I have to say thanks to my parents, because without them, obviously, our parents do everything for us to get us to these levels, and I thank you guys. So thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Well, Colton still has a scoring touch. He got 2 goals last night in the alumni game. Good job. Thanks, Colton. He was the consummate 73's player and well-respected team captain. He was a centerman who unselfishly accepted a change in position to defense to better the club. That decision led the 73's to their last OHA championship in 2014-15. He played on 4 straight league championship teams and is everything a coach would want to build a team around. The Wall of Honor calls Scott Bromley. In 134 games, 4 goals, and 275 penalty minutes, Scott is married to Alexandra, and they have 1 child, Nora. Of his favorite memories, winning the Schmalz Cup, everything about the final Game 7 was amazing and something he'll never forget. On the road and a 1-0 win, returning to town and being greeted by a rink full of fans, Scott considers Game 7 in the 2015 Schmalz Cup final his best game played. Please welcome Scott Bromley.
Right on. Thank you to all the staff that put on this event. It's amazing so far. Continues to be amazing. Congrats to all the other inductees tonight. What an honor to be inducted today. You know, when I first came to Essex, I had no idea the impact that this town and this team would have on me. I'm not from Essex. I don't currently live in Essex, but to this day, I still call Essex home. I guess I got a few people to thank. Like, thank you to all of the executives during my time playing here. Thank you to the coaches. You guys all taught me a lot more than just the game. You guys taught me about life. Thank you to all my teammates. Thank you to my sister for pushing me to be better when we were growing up. Thank you to my wife for being beside me the entire time that I was here in Essex. And thank you to my whole family, and especially my mom and dad. I mean, none of this is possible without you guys. You guys are the best. And Mom, you drove down here every Tuesday for games, which is amazing. So I grew up in Aurora, just outside Toronto, so 4 hours every single Tuesday to watch our home games was amazing. So thank you guys so much. And finally, just thanks everyone for being here tonight to celebrate all of us. And let's have a great night from here. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Our next honoree made the 73's as a 15-year-old kid and would tend the pipes in Game 7 of the first Schmalz Cup Championship in 1975. He played 2 seasons in Essex, winning Rookie of the Year in 73-74. He made the jump to Major Junior A and played with the Oshawa Generals and the Windsor Spitfires. He played semi-pro in Kalamazoo for 8 seasons, and in 2019, the Kalamazoo Wings retired his jersey number 1. The Wall of Honor calls George Gagnon. George recalls when the 73's won the Schmalz Cup in 75 and getting to play with his 2 brothers, as well as the drives to practice, the bus rides, and that final Game 7 against Lindsay in Essex.
Thank you very much, Mark, committee, friends and family that are here tonight. I got to clear up a couple of things before I get started to my speech, though. I was told it was a minute and a half. Some of you guys have gone a long time. The other thing I've got to clear up is there was a lot of talk between my 2 brothers, Fred and Lou, about all these passes and how good they were in leading each other. I'll tell you what, you haven't had a pass until you pass a kidney stone, and that's what I'm fighting right now. For those of you that have had them, you know what I'm talking about. Being honored and inducted today with my brothers, Fred and Lou, my nephew David, and the rest of you great Essex 73's, past and present, is truly an amazing thing. Growing up in McGregor, just a short 10-minute drive, having spent so much time in Essex during my growing years, not only in hockey but in baseball, always brought me great joy and comfort. With my mom driving me to most early morning practices, and either sitting in the cold stands, reading her Harlequin romance novels, or taking a short trip to Maxine's to have a cold or a warm coffee in the morning. Those were treasured times. To my family here in attendance, thank you for your support over the many years while playing hockey here in Essex. It's always been very much appreciated. To all the friends and those associated with starting and keeping hockey here today, thank you. To my wife, Pam, thank you for putting up with the stories after the fact and wondering why all of us are always living in the past. "50 years of success, pride, sportsmanship, winning and losing has gone a long way in putting Essex on the map of not only Ontario, but across Canada, the US, and the world. Congratulations to all involved in this great sport and city. And to my fellow inductees, congratulations again. Continued success and great health to you all. Thank you very much."
Thanks, George. A highly skilled player with the 73's who possessed good hands and an incredible scoring touch. He played his minor hockey in Essex, then graduated to the 73's, where he turned away opportunities to play at higher levels to remain in Essex for 4 years. He was a captain for 2 years, a team scoring leader for 2 years, and a 2-time team MVP. The Wall of Honor calls Brian Pluimers. Brian recalls all the fun of the old school bus trips playing cards. He remembers painting the dressing room in the old barn.
Well, first off, I guess this is quite an honor to be around this organization as long as I have. Growing up in Essex, you always wanted to play for the hometown and make everybody proud. I want to express thanks to all the teammates, coaches, especially my parents. my late wife, my daughter. Just want to say thank you to the whole organization. It is quite an honor for me, and I hope everybody has a great night.
Thanks, Brian. One of the 73's best defensemen of all time, he helped the 73's to 3 state OHL finals and won a Schmalz Cup in 2008-2009. He scored 20 goals on the back end of the 2007-08, and he was awarded the best defenseman in 07-08. Anthony coached the Lakeshore Canadians to the Schmalz Cup in 2022. The Wall of Honor calls Anthony Iaquinta. Anthony is employed at the Windsor-Essex Catholic District School Board, and his favorite memories are closing the old barn in style with an 08-09 without a loss on home ice all year and winning the Schmalz Cup. Anthony couldn't be here tonight, but he sent this video message.
Hey everyone, I'm sorry I cannot be there to join you all on what I'm sure is going to be a great night and weekend. It is unfortunate that I am unable to attend, as I would love to be there. First off, I just want to acknowledge Joe Garrod, Lee Jones, Mike Quinlan, Dave Prpich, Scott Miller, and my good friend Michael Sadler. I can imagine all the work they had to do for this to be possible, and I want to thank each of you for all your time and effort in planning and preparing this weekend. My time in Essex will always be remembered and cherished as some of the greatest years of my life. I've met so many great people and had the opportunity to grow so much during my years here. I had the opportunity to play for an amazing coach in Tony Piroski, who continues to be a huge mentor for me today. I had the chance to play with amazing teammates who welcomed me with open arms and showed me what it meant to work hard, be a good person, and how to win. To the fans, the volunteers, and the executives, thank you for everything over the years. I feel welcomed every time I come to the arena, and I am so thankful for that. Even today, as I coach a different team, I love coming into the arena and catching up with so many familiar faces. To the other nominees who are getting inducted tonight, congratulations. I look at some of the names on the list and I feel like I do not belong. I am truly honored and humbled to be among your names, and I feel so lucky to be inducted into the Wall of Honor. Thank you again to everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.
To accept Anthony's honors, Ron Pee-wee Prpich.
Yeah, happy to accept this for Anthony. He was a good player here, a good coach, and a good friend, and still a good friend today.
Thanks, Pee-wee. He played 1.5 years in Essex for the 73's, 1 year junior B with the Windsor Bulldogs, and 3 years of collegiate hockey at Colgate, where he guided the Red Raiders to the NCAA final and was named a Hobey Baker finalist. He signed a pro contract with the Detroit Red Wings and played 11 years pro in various North American leagues. The Wall of Honor calls Dave Gagnon. Dave recalls having a really bad practice one year, and Coach Quinlan pulled everyone into center ice and laid into the guys. He reminded us all that if we were really any good, we would probably be playing somewhere else. Point taken, and back to work we went. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the nephew of Fred, Louis, and George Gagnon, Dave Gagnon.
Really glad I got to follow all my uncles. That's great. I didn't win a championship, but we did the best we could. I don't know who went to the alumni game the other night, but I got roped into playing by Joe Garrod. He lied to me. Called him, said, Joe, do you need a goalie? He's like, I need you. And I'm like, Joe, I really don't want to play. He's like, you play, I play. And I'm like, I'm down. I'll play. This is going to be fun. We're both going to play. I show up. Joe's not on the roster. I go out there. Thanks a lot, Joe. Yeah, he said he used that on 6 other guys. So we play. It's all fun. I get home, I look at my mother, and I say, I did good, Ma. I did great, right? And she's like, David, you gave up 4 goals, and I don't think you did that well. It's tough coming home. But Essex truly is my home. This is the second greatest honor. I've received playing 10 years pro. The first was the day I got that letter to go to camp. And my Uncle Louis is still back there. But that's framed at home, and that means a lot to me. This little town, it's all I wanted to do. I didn't want to play pro. I didn't want to go to junior B. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to play for the 73's like my uncles did. In closing, I'm glad you could all make it to the Chittle and Gagnon family reunion. and I'm really glad the 73's flipped the bill for it. But thank you very much. It means a lot. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Don't forget the hardware.
The Essex 73's Wall of Honor here tonight. As mentioned earlier on, so many special people. And you talk about people that made this organization what it is today. This guy with me right now, he is probably Essex 73's. Dave Prpich, former coach, one of the guys that helped put this whole event together. He's just been a major staple with the Essex 73's. Perp, first of all, congratulations on the induction, well deserved. The whole night itself. Now that it's happened, a lot of planning, a lot of special people. What are you thinking of it all, and how good does it make you feel?
Well, Dom, I'm absolutely floored by. I knew it'd be good because as we know, Joe Garrod is a hell of an organizer. I mean, Joe took the ball here and ran with it. Believe me, we had a little. I helped out less than what people give me credit for, by the way. I knew it'd be really good, but I'm absolutely floored by what I've seen last night and again today. It's just been incredible.
You were in early with this club, Perp. You brought it its first Schmaltz Cup. What was it about this organization right from the get-go that has still carried on 50 years later, that still breeds winning?
Well, Dom, I think the whole thing is something, people talk about teamwork, and, everybody looks for it, but sometimes you just can't achieve it. And the teamwork here, not just players, it goes right down. You heard speeches earlier tonight, the executive, the volunteers. I started here in 1974, and here we are in 2022, and I see exactly the same ideals today as when I walked through the door for the first time.
We've talked about this before, Perp, and I've talked to Mike Sadler about it, and I've been fortunate, I've been blessed that I've been able to come and learn about. I've learned from you, and I've learned from Mike about what it is to be Essex 73's, and I come to the games here, and I see the fans that are here that still come to the games. It's a very special atmosphere around this team.
Well, it sure is. And I know, my good buddy Tony Piroski, who, is obviously a very successful coach here. He said it best to me one day. He said, we don't recruit. The coaches and that. The players recruit for us. They go out and they tell people, here's where you want to go play. Nothing against Wheatley or Lakeshore or the other teams in the league. But if you want to have the best experience is in Essex. And that was the recruiting process.
You coached some pretty special players, Perp. My, oh my. When I look at the roster that you had, if they were on the ice today, they could probably still be pretty successful.
Well, Dom, I walked into an absolute juggernaut. I guess that's the word for it. I've told many people, I said, and they say, oh, you're not taking any credit. Believe me, my biggest job, make sure I had 5 guys on the ice. The right people, obviously, on the ice at the best times. But you know what? They were really good players. But as you're going to hear all night here tonight, they were so close as a team. And I mean, coaches try and get that, but the team has to do that. I mean, obviously, I coached a long time in junior hockey. Very rarely do you achieve that. Very rarely.
Talk to me, Perp, about coaching then. Obviously, it's a lot different now. You're still a very well-versed educator of hockey today, but it was a lot different back then. You looked at junior C players, and fair to say, Perp, that it truly was a very developmental league back then.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think, You know, I'm one of those old-time guys. I actually liked hockey a little bit better back then. I think the players had a little more freedom. I think as with so-called smart hockey people got involved, you know, we went to all these systems and it actually slowed the game down despite how fast guys can skate now. And you'll find a lot of old-time people do not enjoy the modern game as much as they enjoyed the old-time game. The part I liked the best was the freedom that the players had to express themselves on the ice, and I didn't try and curtail that my years here in Essex. In fact, you know what, Dom, we weren't smart enough in those days. We didn't have all those systems and that. You know, certain things obviously you wanted to do on the ice, and you know, in different situations. But believe me, we didn't. You know, we practiced twice a week. You know, for 45 minutes. We weren't going to put any fancy systems in.
We always talk about careers, Perp. Your career, you've accomplished so much in so many areas of sport. But to be able to say what you did with the 73's team, what your role is here, still as a 73 member. Let's face it, you're an ambassador of sorts. What's that mean to you today, and how important is it that for you in your life that you let people know I'm a 73?
Well, there's no doubt about it. You know, obviously, you know, I grew up here in the county, went to Essex High School. That kind of, you know, I still consider myself a county guy, despite the fact I've lived in Windsor since my early 20s. You know, well over 55 years I've been in Windsor, but I follow, you know, the 73. Don't get out to the games as much as they used to, but believe me, I follow it. I know exactly what's going on. My brother's still associated with the team, so I kind of know what's going on, and it's not surprising to me how well they're doing, because this organization is just A1.
Everybody knows Perp, but now, you know, your name's going to be on this wall of fame, so it's going to be there forever. Thoughts about that, and what's it mean?
Well, I think in any situation, Dom, you know, obviously I'm aging, and you know, I think it's very humbling in a way, and I'm really honored. You know, there might be terms that are overused sometimes. Maybe people just say, I'm absolutely humbled and honored to be part of this, and I'm glad that, you know, 25 years from now, you know, I don't plan on being around. You know, people might say, now, who was that guy? You know what I mean? And then somebody be able to, you know, that's part of the new breed here, be able to explain what happened. I'm proud of what we did here when I was here, and I'm extremely proud of the organization as a whole.
Well, I think it's a two-way street, Perp. They're proud to have you, and certainly I understand you being proud to be part of it, but it's a win-win situation. You've always been a special guy, so enjoy the evening. Congratulations on this, well-deserved. It's just another feather in the cap for you, Perp, and I'm sure there's more to come down the road.
Thank you very much, Tom. Great night.
Dave Prpich, no doubt about it, one of the best guys ever to come out in our area in sports, and I'm not talking just hockey. Perp does a lot with our sports community, and we've been blessed for a lot of years with him. We're going to get back to the ceremony. We're going to see who else is getting honored here. I'll try to dig up a few more interviews for you. This is the Essex 73's Wall of Honor. Wall of Fame, I was going to say, but it's the Wall of Honor unfolding here this evening.
Our next honoree coached the 73's from 1974-75 to 1978-79, and then again 81-82 to 82-83. He led the 73's to their first Schmalz Cup in his very first year, 1975. The following year, his 73's lost in the Ontario Finals, but they would win back-to-back Schmalz Cups in 77 and 78. He would briefly leave the team, but returned to guide the 81-82 team to the Ontario Finals. He enjoyed many years as an assistant and interim coach with the Windsor Spitfires. He is a member of the Windsor Essex Sports Hall of Fame. The 73's Wall of Honor calls Dave Prpich. Dave is retired from the Windsor Board of Education, is married to Mary. Together they have 5 grandchildren. His favorite memory is winning the Schmalz Cup in his first year as coach. The jubilation within our team in the town of Essex was something he will never forget. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Prpich.
Well, now, you know, after listening to some of those things, it's going to be hard to duplicate. I don't mind being in front of a microphone. It's been part of my whole life. A couple of things here before we even talk about hockey. I know it's been said before, but the committee that did the work here, I was a small part of it, believe me. Joe and Scott, Lee, Quinter, Wally did the majority of the work. And I always thought I was organized till I had to be on a committee with Joe Garrod. My goodness, I want to tell you what, everybody here, I'm not going to say Joe is responsible for this night, but boy, oh boy, he's got a big percentage. So I know doesn't like it, but let's give Joe a big hand. My good buddy Lenny was up here earlier. Lenny was a high school teacher. I was a high school teacher and actually coached a little hockey too. A lot of days we went to school unprepared. So this is my speech tonight, kind of unprepared. So it's going to be a little off the cuff. I just want to hit on a couple of things. First of all, unfortunately, a lot of guys were up here and Mark has read off their accomplishments. And you got a little booklet. They didn't need a coach, sort of thing. It was unbelievable, the talent level that was on that first year team here. It was more a case of guiding rather than coaching. And a lot of people have asked me how I ever got to Essex. Well, first of all, I grew up in Cottam, went to Essex High School, became a high school teacher in Windsor, and lo and behold, Mike Sadler, in 1974, probably in May or June, the previous coach had taken another job, couldn't commit to coaching. He called me about coaching the 73's, so, caught me a little off guard. I'd not coached hockey. Anyway, he got a good friend of mine, Jack Costello, who I consider one of the great hockey minds in Essex County, said, you can do it, and so we got started on it. And one piece of advice he gave me, and it worked well with that team, by the way, let the boys play. And that's what we did. We didn't have fancy systems back in those days. We didn't have video. Sort of thing. So we let the boys play, and boy, did they play. I'll skip back to one of Lenny's things again on Perp's prop, just in case some of you younger guys here are thinking about taking up coaching. I wouldn't recommend the garbage can, and I'll tell you why. It was fine in Essex. There wasn't much in it, but I tried the same thing one day in the dressing room when I was one of my coaching stints with the Spitfires. Unfortunately, there was something very heavy at the bottom of the garbage can. And lo and behold, I ended up with a stress fracture in my foot. I pretended, obviously, in front of the players that it didn't hurt. But boy, oh boy, I learned a lesson there. The one thing about Essex, and I consider myself, somebody else said it up here earlier, I consider myself a county guy. I know I lived in Windsor for, 45, 50 years, whatever it is, but and obviously coached with the Spitfire level for a long time. This is where I belong, and what I saw in the last two nights here has been simply amazing. The turnout, the camaraderie, the way people here get along, it's something you just can't teach. And the one thing that you have here, and it started way back when I was coaching, I had nothing to do with it. Everybody's part of the team. We couldn't create that situation in junior A. We work with agents, sort of thing. So individual statistics come into play. Here, nobody cared who got the credit as long as we won the game. So it's a team scenario here. The team is not just the players. It's coaches, it's assistant coaches, the training staff, the executive, the volunteers. I could go on here and tell you how many more things, but I'm just going to leave it at the fact that anybody, the one thing I always remember, and by the way, Tony Piroski is a really good friend of mine, and I think Essex would have been very mad. I really tried desperately to get Tony to come up to Windsor one year. I had taken over the Spitfires, and I tried really hard. And I think I wouldn't have been up here tonight in the Wall of Honor if I got Tony out of here. I think, I would not allowed him back in the town limits. But the one thing, that Tony said that I never really thought of, he said, we don't recruit. We don't have to go out and recruit players. The players recruit players. The players that play here go tell other people how good it is here, what fun they have here, and that's why everybody wants to play here. Congratulations, Essex 73's. 50 years, beautiful.
Thanks, Perp. Our next honoree played 2 seasons for the 73's, 1973-74 and 74-75. He led the team and the league in scoring in 1975 with his 114 points as a league record at the time. He scored the overtime winning goal on home ice against the Lindsay Muskies in Game 7 of the 1975 Ontario Finals. He was drafted to the NHL by Philadelphia and played in Boston and Pittsburgh. The Wall of Honor calls Bruce Crowder. Bruce is the older brother to Keith Crowder. Bruce is married to Lucy and have 2 sons, Kevin and Scott, as well as 4 grandchildren. One moment that stands out to Bruce is long before his playing days as a 73. It was the day he opened the invitation to try out for the 73's from Mike Sadler. The letter was a dream come true.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be back. Obviously, I left here as an 18-year-old, and I kind of came back and forth here and there some summers, and then married the love of my life, Lucy, 42 years ago. We've been together here for 47, so that's a lot. This is a tremendous honor for me. I look at this. I've had a lot of great opportunities in my life. I've been able to play in some of the best buildings in North America against some of the best players in North America or the world back when we were playing. I had the opportunity to get into coaching and everything. But when Mike got a hold of me and asked me, talked about this, I mean, I started to think about what this town was all about. And I look back on those years, the early years, minor hockey years. I look at the coaches that I had. Don Turvo, tremendous person. Bill Waldron, tremendous person. I had Ken Miller for a year as my first year midget. And Ken, that was an interesting year. Mark Miller was on the team, and the highlight of that year is we got 3 police escorts out of 3 different towns. And I think that's what Essex was. I mean, the guys in Essex, they stuck together. And Perp talked about a little bit. I think one of the things that I'm proudest is, I know it's a total chaos now here, and nephew Cam was talking to him a little bit what's happens here and how people are traded and bought and all that kind of stuff. But this was a nucleus of kids that grew up in Essex minor hockey. They went public skating every Sunday for 2 hours, and we'd skate in circles. And they had put this team together, and the 73's and the talent level. And I honestly think my successes were strictly based on the guys I competed against, whether it was baseball or whether it was hockey. Those are the only 2 options we had. But I was very fortunate with that. My family is very important to me. Shout out to my mom, who left us way too young. Shout out to my dad, Wayne, who did all the hard work and never had the luxury of watching his 2 boys play in the NHL. I've got my brothers here today, Roland, his wife, Faye. They had my back. You know, when you have some tragedy and losing your mom at a young age, this town became, you know, like a village. And I knew the Crowders weren't going to get away with anything, because Wayne was going to hear about it. Would it be the Martins in the back? I don't think Ruth ever squealed on me on anything, but she definitely had an eye out for me. I was very fortunate to have the Flood family in my life, and Chuck and Joni, and everybody here knows what Joni did to this town and what she did for me. My brother Don's here. His wife's not here, Cheryl. She's cooking all the meals for us this week. Big shout out to my sister Lynn, who left us last October. It's way too quick. And probably the best athlete that I competed against since I could walk, slept in the next bed next to me. And if it wasn't for him pushing me, Lord knows where I would be. So it's my family I owe a ton with. This town is the balls You guys need to give yourself a nice round of applause, because it's really the characters in this town, to me, that makes the difference. And I know the new coach coming up, somebody was talking about the type of people they want to bring into this organization, and that's huge. I coached college hockey for 19. I coached hockey in general for 21 years. And it's all about the people. And don't let them tell you it's not. It's absolutely all about the people. Thanks for having me. It's great to be home. Oh, one other thing before. I've had this in my possession for 47 years. This is the puck that went in the net on that first championship. And those two guys down there, Lenny gave it to Keith. Keith might have fumbled it. I think it went off his skate. And it came out to me in front of the net, and I just backhanded it in. So it was all Lenny Chittle. And one other thing I'm going to leave you guys with. That guy needs to get his number retired, Lenny Chittle. I'm going to leave you with that.
Thanks, Bruce.
Maybe one of the greatest players to ever play here in Essex. Back in the early 70s, Bruce Crowder went on to a pro career in the NHL and coaching career at the college level. He joins us back home for a special event here, Bruce. And what's it mean to you to come back home for something like this?
Well, it's excellent, because I mean I don't get home much unless it's funerals or weddings kind of thing. And when they put this on, I was really looking forward to it. I knew I was going to see a lot of guys that I hadn't seen in 40, 45 years, and trying to figure out names and places and faces, and some guys look the same and some guys do not.
They're all aging with beauty, so it's okay. What was the team like back then, Bruce? Of course, your brother played on the team, Keith, and you guys ended up winning a Schmaltz Cup.
Yeah, I was on the very first team, and Keith didn't play. You know, the one thing I'll say about the 73's back then, that every kid played in Essex minor hockey. So we all grew up with these guys, Norm Kerr and the Gagnons and Maydels and Pritchards. And so, I mean, to me, that was what was really special about that first cup. They were all kids from Essex for the most part. There was only like maybe a couple of imports. And most of the bulk of the good athletes on the team were Essex kids that came through, whether the baseball program in Essex at the time or coming up through the Essex minor hockey system.
What really amazes me, Bruce, I've got to know a lot of the Essex 73 people. Perp and I have become good friends, and I've learned so much from him. But one thing that really amazes me, how much this team helps shape lives, maybe even to a degree your life. I mean, you put you in the right track for a hockey career.
I have to say the town of Essex in general is very much like that. I mean, I unfortunately lost my mom at 11 years old. So, I mean, it was like, it takes a village. And it really, that wasn't even a slogan back then. But, I mean, I look back at all the people, the neighbors and everything, my older brothers, and who took care of us, and good people. And they even mentioned it tonight earlier that, I mean, they want good hockey players that are good people, and they're going to take that good person over somebody that's maybe not. And I think that's a huge testament to the 73's and what they've been able to do over the last 50 years. And you look at some of these people that I talked to, even the last yesterday, the careers they've had outside of athletics, it's amazing what some of these people have done.
Yeah, they're a pretty special bunch for sure. And it continues. 50 years later, we're still seeing great results. They still have a lot of winning teams. They're still in the hunt every year for a championship. What's this hockey team mean to this town and you know, putting it on the map?
Well, I just think it's just really special. I mean, you look at the people who started this organization back. I mean, they started talking about this in 72, 73, and their first year was 73, 74. And there was a lot of people who put their necks on the line to kind of bring this junior C program here. There was a lot of conversation on the streets because I was a midget hockey player, and they're worried about what was going to happen with the midget program because obviously I made the team, the first team. I mean, Mark Miller, another great player, the 73's. We grew up together, the same age group, and but it was just, I think that because of the success, anytime that success you have, it breeds confidence and brings people want to be associated with that. And I think that's the nice thing that's been happening over the last 50 years.
How competitive was this team? I mean, amongst each other. I mean, everybody wanted the ice time, right? You had to earn it.
Well, you did, and I mean, I got looking at this when I was coming, and it was like one of those things that I was very fortunate to play in some great rinks. I play in the NHL, and my brother Keith. But you start looking at that, and what really helped me was there were so many great athletes here. You know, guys who even baseball players, great players, but great hockey players that it pushed me and it pushed it. I mean, the kid who lived in the next, slept in the next bed, he was probably one of the best athletes around. I mean, I got my own brother that was a heck of a player. And but for me, I think that's the thing that I look back is just how good these guys were as athletes. And that pushed you. That made you a better player.
Well, you are a good one yourself, Bruce. Appreciate your time here. Enjoy the stay while back home, and hopefully we'll get to do something again down the road, but continued success to you.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Bruce Crowder, certainly one of the good ones as part of the history of this Essex 73 Hockey Club. Going to go back up to the stage now and continue on with the Wall of Honor.
He came through the Essex minor hockey system and played 3 years full-time with the Essex 73's, 85-86, 87-88, and 88-89. He also enjoyed a season in Junior B with the Windsor Bulldogs. He was team scoring leader in 85-86 and was a team MVP in 87-88. The Wall of Honor calls Jeff Brett. Jeff is married to Sally and they have one child, Jacob. Jeff remembers growing up and playing Essex minor hockey and wanting to play for the 73's. He worked hard and had great teammates and successful teams, leading the team in scoring as a rookie and winning the league championship in 85-86 is a memory he will never forget. Jeff.
So this is my thing. I did my best talking on the ice, chirping to other players, but I'll try. Growing up playing minor hockey, I watched my Uncle Bobby play in the 70s, and I was going to do my best I could to play for the 73's. That's all I wanted to do is play for the 73's. But to be put in the inaugural Wall of Honor is just completely humbling. Thanks, Joe, the committee, all the volunteers. It's just amazing. So I was told last year, I joined the 73's as part of the coaching staff. And one thing a lot of people don't know, if we have 20 players on the team, there's another 60 people that are involved, whether it's training staff, committees, volunteers. It's just amazing how many people it takes to run a junior C team. And I just want to thank them for everything they've done since 1973. It's just amazing. I want to thank all the players that I played with, coaches, Lenny, Mike, Danny Mills, guys like Lee Jones that brought me along when I was, I don't know, still in diapers. I was just a kid. He was the best captain I ever played for. We did everything as a team. It didn't matter if you had somewhere to go at night. You showed up at the team function. You made sure everybody in the place saw your face, and then you could do what you want. Unfortunately, he turned me the wrong way. I usually stay till the end with him, but it was educational. I want to thank my brother and sister for coming tonight. According to them, I was the spoiled one. I got everything as a kid, and they did without, which they didn't. We all know that. But my parents sent me to every hockey school from here to Toronto to Mark Miller over at University of Michigan. I miss you dearly. Thank you very much. I want to thank my two nephews for coming out and their wives. Family is everything. Joe, we can't say enough. Everybody said it. You guys are just amazing. I started coaching when I was still playing Junior C. I coached minor hockey for 25 years. I joined the 73's last year with Jamie. Lee's on board this year. Nobody knows how much time is involved except for family. Jacob, I'm your dad. We're not home very often. Sally, you've been supportive since I started coaching when I was, when we first got together. Thank you very much. Dave Gagnon, I played Junior C with you. played junior B with you. You never saw me till after the game. I'm Jeff Brett. I was told I never back checked. Dave.
Thanks, Jeff. A talented defenseman with the 73's in the early 1970s. He scored 24 goals and 17 goals respectively from the back end. He was selected best defenseman in 1975. The Wall of Honor calls Rick Speedy Chapman. Sadly, Rick passed away in 1996 at the young age of 42. Rick was employed at Chrysler Canada for 21 years until his untimely death. He was married to Kathy Firth, and today they had 2 children, Todd and Tracy, 2 grandchildren, Megan and Hannah. One of Rick's favorite memories, Kathy shared that Speedy was very excited to be part of the Essex 73's in its first year. Winning the Schmalz Cup in 1975 would be a special memory of his. The family is proud to have his memory live on through the Defenseman of the Year trophy named after him. To accept Rick's honor to the wall is his wife, Kathy, and family.
Thank you. First off, congratulations to all the fellow inductees. It's been an honor to hear all the great stories of my late father. Also, thank you to Joe and everyone that worked behind the scenes to get this weekend together. Obviously, a phenomenal time we're all having. So for the formal part of this speech, what an honor it is to be here on behalf of my late father, Rick Speedy Chapman. I don't know exactly what he would say, but I know he would probably have some pretty amazing stories to share, and it would end with a good cheers. So I'm hoping that I can do that here. My mom, Kathy, has many fond memories of his years playing, including the bus trips, which she still isn't quite sure how she got on the bus trips, but she was along for the ride. She said that Speedy would be at the front of the bus, Prpich and the boys, breaking down strategy for that championship run in '75. During that final series, the Lindsay radio broadcasters also gave Speedy the extra nickname of the Super Gnat, because he was all over the ice, putting up points and chirping anyone that would listen. Now I know where I got that from. There's also a rumor of a fight in the stands during that series, which we won't go into much detail of, but needless to say, I don't think the people of Lindsay still like Speedy to this day. I've been told many things of my late father's playing days, and while I've never seen him play, I do know he was special enough to receive an honor of naming the annual Defenseman of the Year award given out at this club, which we are also extremely grateful for, along with this induction. I will leave with this wish. I hope that he is watching down with us, celebrating his phenomenal achievements. Cheers to Speedy and the fellow inductees.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Kathy. Our next honoree was a prolific goal scorer for the 73's named Mags. He scored an amazing 105 goals in 121 games, including 55 in 77-78. He won 2 Schmalz Cups, went on to play for the St. Clair Saints, then 3 seasons of pro hockey in Europe. The Wall of Honor calls Mark Mags McGuire. 121 games played, 105 goals, 1.69 points per game. Mark is self-employed for the past 20 years, and as he said earlier, is married to Karen. They have 5 children and 1 grandchild. Of Mark's favorite memories in the 1976 playoffs against Dunnville, George forgot to pack his goalie pads on the bus. When he realized the error upon arrival, he told Perp. It was painfully quiet in the dressing room until backup Bobby Chittle offered George his pads. Way to go, Bobby. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Mark McGuire.
Thank you. Well, I've hugged more married men in the last 2 days than I have in my entire life. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot more of them to hug now. A special thank you to Joe and the entire committee for putting all the information, the data, the facts, very difficult selection process. So thanks. It's a lot of work. Thank you to the current Essex 73's organization for putting this event together. What a wonderful reunion for all of us to catch up and relive what some may consider to be the glory days. Congratulations to all those nominated in the top 100, and a special congratulations to my fellow inductees. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Thanks, Mark. The younger brother of Bruce, he played 2 seasons with the 73's from 75 to 76 and led the team in scoring in his last. Keith graduated to the OHL and played with the Peterborough Petes, winning the Memorial Cup in 1979. He played 662 career NHL games, scoring 223 goals, 271 assists for 494 points, while adding 1,354 penalty minutes. He had 6 seasons of 20 goals or more in his 10 NHL years. The Wall of Honor calls Keith Crowder. Keith has recently retired and sold his Tim Hortons franchises. He's married to Penny, and they have 2 children, Cam and Chase. One of his favorite memories was from 1975, Game 7 win over Lindsay, and drawing the assist along with Len Chittle on brother Bruce's overtime goal. The old barn jam-packed, fans literally sitting on the rafters. The first 73's All-Ontario Championship.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the committee to put this event on, and Joe. It's a fantastic event. Like a lot of the inductees here tonight, they talk about being able to see old friends and some that we recognize, some we had to take a second look. Like when Bobby Brett introduced himself as I used to be Bobby Brett, then I recognized him. I've been very fortunate to grow up in a strong family with a lot of support. Like Bruce had said earlier, we faced some difficulties along the way, but we stood together. And, you know, hockey was a big, big part of that for us. You know, obviously we talk about what Essex minor hockey meant to us growing up and the coaches that we had, the Turbos, the Waldrons, and McCallums. They led us to be, Bruce and I, to be able to be good enough hockey players to get asked out to play for the 73's. I was fortunate enough to have a big brother that I was always trying to prove that I was better to. And you did hear tonight, I think, that he said I was a better hockey player. I think that, I just want to make that clear, right? No, I think he said athlete, so he could keep that clear, right? But that brings me up a story when a few years later, when Cam was actually coaching the 73's, we used to come to the games, and Chan's dad, Mr. Knutson, was sitting in front of us, and he brought me back to reality when he turned around and very humbly said to me, your brother was a better hockey player than you were. I think it's just different, the different routes we take. Bruce went to college. I went to junior hockey, played a lot of games. But when I look back at my 73 teammates, and I look back at the faces that I've been able to see in the last few days, you know, the Chittles, the Gagnons, Prpich, like I don't want to miss anybody, but it was one of the best times of my life. You know, I reached a goal. I wanted to play for the Essex 73's. Okay. Bruce had already made it. He set the example for me. I wanted to catch up to him. I worked really hard, wanted to prove that I belonged. And Wally, at the time, I wasn't a very happy camper. He signed me to a midget card instead of a junior card. So I had to work hard all season just to prove I belonged. So I think it was a smart move by Wally. But we had good coaches, Perp, Dave, Moore. We had the executives were fabulous for us. We just had an opportunity to play the game here in Essex that a lot of young people did not have. We had good support, and the memories that I have back with, like Louis said earlier, nothing made me happier than losing my hard-earned money to him in a card game when I was 15. But it was, those were life lessons that I took further on, and I knew I couldn't play cards very well, so thank you, Louis. But again, I want to thank everyone for being a part of this, organizing this event. You know, the 73's meant everything to me. Mark touched on the jacket. The jacket was a very big thing to becoming a 73 back then, especially that black leather jacket that we wore that was stiff as a board. You could stand it up in a corner, but it had, you know, it had your name and it had your position on your one side, right? And you know, most importantly, I guess it had your name, but really the thing that hit home and over your heart was the Essex 73's. And I wore that jacket proudly every day I could until the spring white edition jacket came out. But it meant a lot to me. It still does. I was so proud at that moment to be part of the 73's, and particularly for 2 years. And it was the basis for me learning how to compete with men, because I was 15 playing with 19-year-olds. And I remember what it took to compete as an athlete and took that to the higher levels. I'm forever grateful to the organization. I'm grateful to the organization for continuing on that expected level of expectation, to be competitive, to win. And, you know, my son had a chance to play here as well as coach here. It's a fantastic community. You know, Essex gave me everything as a kid. Pardon me, and as an adult when I came back. I thank you all, and God bless everybody.
Thanks, Keith. Don't forget the hardware. As a side note, for those of you that may not be aware, Bruce's number 7 and Keith's number 11 have been retired, and you can see those banners up there on the walk just inside the main entrance to the arena. The next inductee played 1 season with the Essex 73's and scored an amazing 64 goals and 118 points and was named Rookie of the Year. He played hockey at Bowling Green State University and was a 2-time All-American and 2-time Hobie Baker Award finalist. He went on to spend 11 seasons playing professionally in Europe and won 3 gold medals with Team Canada in the Spengler Cup. He spent several years coaching at various levels and has been employed for 17 years at Rochester Institute of Technology. The Wall of Honor calls Brian Hills. Brian lives in Rochester, New York, has been married to Andrea for 39 years, and they have 2 children. One of his favorite memories is being told by Mike Sadler and Dave Prpich in the old Essex Arena office after tryouts that he made the 73's.
First of all, just like everyone else, I'd like to thank Joe Garrod and the committee here for putting on such an outstanding event. I really wasn't expecting all this, and it's really impressive. Next, I'd like to thank the Essex 73's for being named to the Wall of Honor and for giving me the chance to play junior hockey. In particular, I really want to thank the GM at that time, Mike Sadler, and Coach Dave Prpich for giving me the opportunity in 1977 after cutting me in 1976 and telling me, hey kid, you had a pretty good tryout, why don't you come back next year? So I still get a kick out of that to this day. This honor means a lot to me, and I also want to thank all my teammates from that league and provincial championship team in 77-78. I was a so-called city boy from Riverside, and I was accepted right away. It wasn't like the guys who were from Essex or McGuire, places close by. I was kind of the new guy in town, and I didn't expect to be accepted like I was, and man, I made a lot of really good friends here. And I understood what Essex was all about by the end of that season. To be honest, playing in Essex was probably one of the most enjoyable years I ever had in hockey. And, you know, like a lot of guys here, you might have got to play in a number of spots afterwards. But again, the community, the team, the people here were really special. And I'm really thankful for that. Again, as Mark mentioned, you got to play college hockey, you got to play in Europe for 11 years. And in 1994, I came home, moved into college coaching, been there kind of ever since. My entire professional career, so to say, has been spent either playing hockey or coaching hockey. And I owe a lot of that to the Essex 73's for giving me the chance to play junior hockey back in 1977. I'm forever grateful for that. Again, want to thank the town of Essex for that opportunity, and congrats again to all the honorees here tonight.
Thanks, Brian. He played 3 seasons in Essex starting in 1975 and finishing in 1978. A 2-time Schmalz Cup back-to-back champion, he set a then league record 132 points in 77-78. He is the 73's all-time career leading goal scorer with 136 goals. He graduated to the Junior B Windsor Royals along with his brother Bob after his playing days in Essex. He was a draft pick of the OHL London Knights. The Wall of Honor calls Don Chittle. Don has been married to Kim for 29 years, and they have a daughter, Amy, 27. Don has owned Don Chittle Construction for 43 years. One of his favorite memories, or many of his favorite memories, are all the parties back at the Chittle Farm in Maidstone with players, staff, family, and friends.
Thank you, everybody. I want to give the Essex Minor Hockey a shout out there. Without that, you know, the 73's wouldn't be here, and I was glad to be part of that. Had a lot of great coaches. Don Turble. At one time there, my dad, we were in a tournament in the Silver Stick, and my dad and Don were coaching. My dad was helping. It was Don would say shoot, my dad would say hang it. The people were jumping out of the stands. They didn't know where, you know, the bomb's going off or what's going on. But we ended up winning, so it was all good. I want to thank Perb and Wally and everybody for giving me a chance to come out. Great organization, as everybody knows, that's been out here. I want to thank Louis Gagnon and Danny Mills. I remember when my mom was at home and Wally called and says, hey, they want you to come up for a game. Oh, okay, Mom, like, you know, you're scared. And, all right, I get there. And we have the old dressing room over here. It's kind of like a box stall in the barn. So anyway, I'm sitting there and Perb puts me out there with Louis and Millsy. So the first shift, I'm playing left wing, Louis on right, and Millsy's in center. Well, I cut in the center, and the best elbow I ever got was from Millsy. He gave it to me. He said, hey, Chit, you stay on your wing. I got center, right? I said, okay, I got that under control. So anyway, I want to thank everybody. Essex, great town. I was glad that my nephew Tice had a chance to play here, and all the minor hockey. It wasn't for all you people and the support, this organization wouldn't be where it's at. It's a great organization. It's a mini NHL team in a small town. Thank you all.
Well said. Thanks, Don.
We're here at the Essex 73's Wall of Honor evening. What a night it is unfolding here. Just so many great stories, so many great teams, so many great players. And if you've ever followed the Essex 73's, one family name that's synonymous with the 73's is that of the Chittle family. Don Chittle, one of the honorees here tonight, joins us. Thanks for doing this with us, Don. And
yes, Don.
What's it mean to you guys to have a night like this finally come together, and now it's going to be up there forever for the history of the Essex 73's Hockey Club?
Yeah, it's a great organization. I was fortunate enough to play in Essex minor hockey. We had some great guys here, the Crowders, guys that moved on, Millers. I was fortunate enough to play through all my minor hockey. Great organization, great town. You know, there was only 4,000 people back in the day. Everybody supported this team, and it was an honor for me to to get asked to play for it. I mean, it all started with minor hockey for sure. I mean, there's some great people that have came through here and went on to better and bigger things.
It seems like, Don, that a seed was planted automatically, that this team, this organization, was built to be successful. And only success was the only thing that mattered to them. And it comes in many different forms, but obviously 7 Schmalz Cup championships, 14 Schmalz Cup appearances. Obviously, right from the get-go, this team, it just snowballed right away. Winning became the standard here.
Yeah, and it all starts with like Perb, Wally, Sadler, the whole organization here, the people that started this, this franchise back in the day. I mean, it all started through their minor hockey, right? You don't have a good team like that without support around. The community, Maidstone, McGuire, all the little communities around. This is the hotbed of hockey here, and as you can see, there's been some great people that came through here, went through here, and the organization a lot of people supported this team. I'm proud that I had a chance to even play here, and I had a good chance to play with some great people.
Speaking of getting the chance to play here, Don, I mean, as a young man, you always have your favorites, you have your goals, you set your goals. I'm sure growing up as a kid, you had your favorite players you aspired to be like, but the day you got to put on an Essex 73 jersey and say, I play for the Essex 73's, do you remember that and how good it felt?
Oh, yeah, I still remember that day when I was at the farm there with my mom and that, and Wally Sadler calls me and says, hey, we need to fill in. Somebody got hurt, and I don't remember who it was, and I walk in the dressing room. I'm a rookie there, and here I am, and Prp puts me in line with Louis Gagnon and Danny Mills, probably the two toughest guys, the best guys in the league, and here I am. I don't know what to do. I'm just get out there and do what you got to do, and, it was a great experience. Prp and Wally, they put me on a great line, so if I didn't hold up, I guess nobody to blame but myself, but you couldn't help but produce with those two guys, and they were experienced, and a lot of good memories there with Louis and Mills, the first two guys I had, and so great experience.
Was there any one favorite moment in the career during your time with the 73's, Don, that stands out to you?
Well, we had so many, right? I was fortunate enough to play with so many good teams. We had good coaching, there were so many things behind the scenes that you didn't realize that I realize now that we had then and we took it for granted. Like Frank Matthys, all the guys that spent hours. The dressing room the kids have today is like NHL. The one that we had, we were happy with the old block one in the back. When I first came here, we had the little ones in the hallway at the old barn. But the arena was like the old Windsor Arena, right? When you went in there, you knew you were in for a hockey game. When you came into that arena, like the Spets, or the Windsor Arena, you came in Essex Arena, you knew you were in for a game. Well, the fans, they were supportive. So, it was just electrifying. We were lucky to have all that.
That's the true definition of home ice advantage.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We were fortunate enough to have the support of the community and everything else. This whole organization's been first class, and it shows today. This is like an NHL franchise right now in a little town of Essex. So everybody from the staff, the whole town, it's unbelievable what they've done here. I don't know how words can describe it. It's a mini NHL.
You're a class act yourself.
Oh, thanks.
Appreciate the time. Go enjoy the rest of the evening, and congrats on the honoree here tonight.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Don Chittle, one of the good guys for sure here at the Essex 73's Wall of Honor ceremony. We'll be back with more in a little bit.
He backed the 73's to a back-to-back Schmalz Cup in 77 and 78. He played 3 years in Essex with the 73's, 1 year with the Windsor Royals, and had a stint of Junior A hockey with the Windsor Spitfires. After his playing days, he started a construction company, then worked and retired from Otto Holloway, and finally he owned and operated a survey stake business. He passed away sadly in 2020 at the age of 62. The Wall of Honor is proud to induct Bobby Chittle. Accepting Bobby's honor is the Chittle family.
Hi, everyone. I am honored to be accepting this award on behalf of my Uncle Bobby. Anyone here who knew Uncle Bobby knew how much he loved the game. His years playing for the 73's with my dad were some of his favorite years, and as I'm sure my cousins Mitchell and Tyson can agree, playing with your brother is something incredibly special. Uncle Bobby shared many stories about his years playing with Essex, and if any of you knew him, you'd know some of his stories playing for the 73's might not be completely appropriate for this type of setting, but he definitely had a passion for the game. A close friend of Uncle Bobby's did share this one story with me, and although it's not strictly about hockey, it definitely speaks volumes to his goaltending gaze. Uncle Bobby and his baseball team went to London for a tournament way back in the day, and Uncle Bobby was playing left field. There was a line drive hit right at him, and it took a crazy hop last minute. As an instinct, he kicked out his left leg goalie style to make the save. The goalie instincts were in his blood. They later went on to win the tournament. I was fortunate enough to get to spend Thursday evenings with Uncle Bobby and my dad at Spitfires games. And after a good amount of the goals that were scored, he would always tell me, A, what the goalie did wrong, B, how they could have made the save or been more prepared, and C, what he would have done instead. Let's just say most of the things he said he would have done instead, I've never seen done in the game of hockey. If he were here, I know he'd have a bunch of stories to share. He'd share his favorite memories. He'd share how proud he was of his nephew Mitch and Tice for playing together in this league, just like he and my dad did. And he would have shared how proud he is of Tyson for coming to play for a team that means so much to our family. Sorry. And that we have so much history with. Sorry. He would have been honored to be selected for the Wall of Honor alongside his brother Donnie. And I know that he's smiling up there today looking down on us right now. Thank you on behalf of Uncle Bobby to the entire 73's organization, to all his past teammates, coaches, and everyone on the board of executors, and Joey for putting this all together. Thank you guys so much.
Well done, thanks. Our next inductee played 2 seasons with the 73's in 76-77 and again in 77-78. A 2-time Schmalz Cup champion, captain of the 77-78 team, he set a league record for points in a season by a defenseman, that season scoring 106 points. He also holds the league record for assists in a season with 86, also registered that same season. The Wall of Honor calls on Mike Reaume. Sadly, Mike passed away in 2020. Mike and his wife Arlene own the Dairy Freeze in Northridge, Ontario. Mike and Arlene have 4 children and 6 great-grandchildren. Kathy recalls Mike would laugh about some funny moments with teammates or talk how much fun they had at the pool party at Coach Prp's house on Golfview, winning 2 Schmalz Cups and playing alongside with his brother Al, and watching the 73's every Tuesday night. To accept Mike's induction into the Wall of Honor is his wife Arlene Reaume and family.
Hello, everyone. I feel very proud yet sad to be accepting this honor on Mike's behalf. He would have loved this weekend, not only for the prestigious honor of being an inaugural inductee to the 73's Wall of Honor, along with Al and the other very accomplished and well-deserving inductees, but for seeing all of you. That would be his favorite part. We all know how Mike loved to chat and was quick to laugh. And I will especially miss his laugh tonight because he so would have loved reminiscing and catching up with all of you that he knew, and meeting you if he didn't yet know you. Mike had a great respect and admiration, not only for his teammates, but for the coaching and management team of Perp, Wally, and Dave, for whom he loved to excel. He was so proud of his years here with the 73's, wearing his Ego jacket and serving as the captain. And from me, I am very grateful for the 73's for bringing Mike into my life for 42 years and giving me my family. So thank you.
Thanks, Arlene. A solid defenseman in his 3 years in Essex, he holds the 73's record for plus-minus in a season with a plus 136 achieved in 77-78. He was captain of the 73's in 78-79 and again in 79-80. He shared team MVP with Dave Anthony in 1979 and was team MVP again in 1980. The Wall of Honor calls Al Reaume. Al has been employed at Reaume Chevrolet Buick GMC for 45 years. He is married to Stephanie, and they have 3 children and 2 grandchildren. His favorite memory, although not much of a goal scorer, Al recalls scoring the last goal of the last game of the Schmalz Cup Finals in 1978 against Bowmanville. A highlight, though the final score was 12-2 Essex. Still a highlight, right?
Oh, that's a tough act to follow. I'm not much of a speaker, but I guess if you ask my wife, she'd beg to differ. I'd like to extend also a thank you to Joe Garrod and his committee for doing such an amazing job for this weekend. This has been a blast for me. I'd also like to thank my family, my extended family and friends that are here to share in this celebration also. Now, I feel incredibly honored to be included in this first group of 73's inductees. My time here is very special. In my very first year, we won the Schmalz Cup under the amazing coaching staff of Dave Prpich and Dave Moore up front, with Mike Wally Sadler doing the ever underappreciated behind-the-scenes duties. I really enjoyed being on a team that was one of the most incredible scoring threats in the 73's team history. We lost only 1 regular season game that year, all while being partnered on D with my big brother Mike, who always had my back. I'm very proud to be part of the 73's dynasty, and thank you for this humbling honor.
Thanks, Al. Our next inductee captained the 73's all 3 years he played and was a 2-time team MVP. He was not the flashiest player or the best skater, but where he lacked in that area, he more than made up in heart, desire, and leadership. When he spoke in the room, his team listened. He played an aggressive, rugged style of hockey and wasn't afraid to mix it up with anyone, any size. A fan delight. The Wall of Honor calls Lee Jones. Lee's favorite memory is coming back in Game 7 against Moortown after being down 3-0 in the 85-86 series and winning the Great Lakes Junior C, wearing the C all 3 years he played. Assistant coach for 2 Ontario titles. Please welcome Jonesy, as he's known, Lee Jones.
Thanks, Mark. Just a little story you had before about Joe there. The 75 shots.
Yeah, were you on that? Were you there that night?
Story, but a little part of that story. I saved 45 of them. I'm the only guy that's got
Oh, so you
half a shutout on my stats as a 73 player. And Dave Gagnon can attest to that. It's, this is a great honor. My dad is a founding father. I was privileged to know all these guys back in the 73's. I know Wally didn't really like me back then as a 7-year-old kid running around the dressing room, being a pain in the ass. But my dad always told me, to be a winner, you got to be around winners. And that's so true, and we can see with all the cups we had. I'd love to thank my mom, which always stood to the right of the penalty box, sat there. And I'm, after about the 5th penalty I got, I'd look over there, and my mom doesn't say much, but she can look and give you, that's enough. And that's okay. My family, I can remember back when I first started coaching with Tony, I was playing baseball, slow pitch with Perp on the Playboys, and they had won the All-Ontario, and I was talking to Jamie McDermott, and I says, I wouldn't mind coaching, I wouldn't mind learning from Tony. He says, well, I'll talk to you. So Jamie talked to him, and we were playing baseball at McGuire in a tournament, and he said, well, you want to come on board? And I said, yeah, I'd really like that. He says, well, I'll hire you. I said, perfect. The next hardest thing was going home and telling my wife. Now, we had Mackie, that was 9 months. I think Brendan was 2 years old, and Riley is 5 years old. And you know what? She always gave me everything I had. It has been, I love to thank my brother, my sister, sister, everybody. They always follow me all the time I played. It's, like I said, guys, it's a great honor to be up here. Joe, we're best friends. A lot of Friday afternoons, we sat going over stuff. We bounced stuff off the wall for this weekend. And everything come together. Joe, you did a great job. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jonesy. General Manager Scott Miller's first point of duty in 2011 was to find a head coach. The gentleman he selected stepped in, and in his first year behind the bench, the 73's won the league championship. Essex would win 4 more league titles, 5 in total under his guidance, including 3 Ontario Finals appearances and 1 Schmalz Cup. His .846 regular season win percentage is the best among 73's coaches all time. He was an assistant coach of the Grimsby Peach Kings in 2022, and they lost in the semifinal All-Ontario play. The Wall of Honor calls Gil Langlois. Gil is retired from the banking industry, is married to Judy, and they have 2 children, Chris and Nick, along with 4 grandchildren. One of his favorite memories is being hired to coach the Essex 73's and winning the Schmalz Cup in 2015 are all on the top of Gil's memories.
I remember saying while coaching in Essex, the saying, win or lose, the coach gets too much credit. And you really can't say any more about that other than, of course, I'm standing here now. Being elected to the Wall of Honor was a huge honor for me, and I'm so proud to be able to tell friends that I'm on this wall with everybody else that got inducted today. There's no way I'd be standing here today without the support of many people. First and foremost is my wife, Judy. She put up with so much and stood behind me all the time, along with my 2 boys, and for that, I'm very grateful. Then there's the man who hired me, Scott Miller. I'm so thankful that Scott took the chance and hired me, and you know, without that, again, I wouldn't be here, and so thank you very much, Scott. To all the staff over the years, and again, I'm sure I'm going to miss some, but I'm going to read them anyway. Steve, Anthony, Brian, Craig, Pat, Cam, Chad, Pee-wee, Adam, D-Mac, and of course, Jason. Special thanks to the 73 board, who supported us for everything. And lastly, all the players. They made it possible for me to be here today, and I'm so unbelievably lucky to have had the opportunity to get to coach them, and more importantly, to get to know them off the ice. I would ask that everybody that I just mentioned, if you guys could just stand up for a second, please. Everybody that I just mentioned, coaching staff, the players that are here today, the executives that are here today, can you also stand up? To all the sponsors that are here today, please stand up. Along with the support staff for the Essex 73's that are here today, if you stand up and take a look around, and I'll close my speech by saying, again, win or lose, the coach gets too much credit. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach. He is the most decorated member of the Wall of Honor. He won a Stanley Cup as a player with the Colorado Avalanche and won 3 Memorial Cups as general manager of the Windsor Spitfires. He is also an elected member of the Windsor-Essex Sports Hall of Fame. He played just 1 year with the Essex 73's and was drafted by the Sudbury Wolves. He enjoyed 406 games in the NHL for Chicago, Toronto, Los Angeles, Anaheim, and Colorado. The Wall of Honor calls Warren Reichel. Warren can't be with us this evening. Please welcome back Lee Jones to accept his honor to the wall.
Yes, Warren was planning on being here to Florida, I think, for hockey. So on behalf of Warren, I was a better hockey player than Warren. He got lucky. But anyways, on behalf of Warren, I know he really appreciates this, and thank you.
Thanks, Lee. He is considered by all measures one of the 73's best all-around players of all time. He is the only 73's player to lead the league in scoring 2 times and one of only 5 in league history to ever accomplish that feat. He was team MVP back-to-back in 2013 and 2014. The Wall of Honor calls Corey Beaulieu. Corey's favorite memories recalls the organization taking great care of the players, the brotherhood created among strangers, every game battles, stories in the room, laugh, and lifelong friendships. Corey?
I just want to say, you guys, as the older group, you guys are naturals at coming up here and speaking and talking around. Like, my head is spinning over there. But anyway, I'd just like to thank the committee for everything that you guys have done, all the volunteers. You guys have been fantastic from just this weekend, but also every game, every practice that we came to. You guys were always there, making it very easy for us just to come and play hockey in the game that we love. The executives, staffs, all the players that we played with along the way, it's been just absolutely amazing. If I can go over to, obviously, my rock, my family, it's the #1 thing in life. And my mom, my dad, Lynn, Papa, my wife, Nick, Brian and Lisa, Kyle, Courtney, Jeff and Kathy, you guys always been by my side. You guys never, ever hesitate to come to the rink. You guys are always there. Every time I look up, regardless, you guys are always there. So, some of you don't know, I'm a very loyal individual I'm an Amherstburg boy, unfortunately. Coming out of midget hockey, I didn't have anywhere to go to play hockey. We didn't have a junior team or nothing, so I go, well, I love the game, but I still want to go. Where do I go from here? Someone says, hey, why don't you go to the closest place? Go skate with Essex. And obviously, my first instinct is, I hate those guys. Like, I have one brother, he's a 91, I'm a 92 boy, so I played up a little bit. So with playing against Lou and playing against Bogsy and playing against, I hated those guys. I hated the guys I played against in the 92s, Chatty and Garrod, Deli, and so I was like, this is gonna be good. Come to training camp, well, lo and behold, we battled it out, and we're best friends. Some guys are going to be staying. He stood at my wedding, and lifelong friends forever. One thing that I've learned a lot with the Essex 73's is that the older guys really paved the path. So when I came in and ended up taking a leadership role of it, is that there was always a tradition. And all I had to do is follow your guys' standards, and coming up and hearing all the stories about the past. I mean, you guys are the ones that made it something for us as a younger generation to look up to, and to be proud and to know that you got to battle and you got to love each other. You got to be there for each other, and it's family and it's hardship. So anyway, thank you guys very much, and have a great evening.
Thanks, Corey.
And we continue on here at the Essex 73's Wall of Honor evening, and what a special night it is. So many great people, so many stories being told, and you know what? There's going to be a lot more memories created down the road, and one guy that's going to help guide some of that ship and hopefully create some of those great memories, the new head coach of the Essex 73's, Jamie McDermott, and thanks for doing this with us, Coach. And first of all, congratulations on the job. Second of all, what do you think about all of this tonight? You know a lot of these people. You've been around this your whole life.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Dom. Thanks for having me on. No, this is an absolutely unbelievable event. I mean, I don't know that there's too many Junior A franchises that do something like this. Like Joe Garrod and the committee and the executive board have put on a tremendous event here. The other night, the alumni game with the older fellows like the Crowders and whatnot, there was over 500 people on B rink there. I couldn't even imagine if we had it over here on A rink. I'm sure they probably turned people away. This is just an unbelievable event. Again, you know, I might be a little biased, but to me, this is the best junior organization in the province. So it's not surprising, but it's unbelievable, and I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Well, it's a strong argument as for being the best organization. When you go to 14 Smalls Cups, you win 7 of them. I don't know how many league titles, but and you look at the players that have come through the organization, though, Jamie. That's what really, I think, makes a statement here. And I was talking to Donnie Chittle earlier on, and I asked him, I said, did you sense, or do you know, when you became part of the 73's, it was win at all costs. Winning was just put forth. There was no excuses, nothing less than winning. You know, even if you had an off year, it wasn't good. It wasn't called a rebuilding year because the expectations have been put so high immediately.
Well, exactly, and it's a winning culture here, right? And if you're not if you don't believe that you're going to be part of that winning culture, you're probably not going to be part of this organization. And the ground was set years ago by guys like Donnie Chittle and the Crowders and the Normie Kerrs and guys like that. And you know what? I'm just very fortunate to be part of it, to carry it on. Like again, I've had a great mentor in Tony Piroski and Wally Sadler and guys like that have been part of my hockey coaching career for a number of years now, and I'm just looking forward to trying to carry it on and you know, be part of it going forward.
Is there a secret formula, Jamie? Is there a formula that no matter who comes in to coach this team, you, Tony Piroski, whoever, is there something there that's left from the previous coaches, or just something that's synonymous throughout the years that you implement as a coach?
Well, I think the town commands it, and I think the organization commands it, right? So they don't hire just anybody, and not saying that I'm special because they hired me, but
you're special, Jamie. You're special.
It's just this organization commands that culture, and you know, if you don't have it, you're probably not getting hired. And for me, probably part of the reason I did get hired is because I've come from the background of guys like Tony Piroski and Wally Sadler and Dave Prpich and so on and so forth. So I just think it's that's the culture that this organization has set from years past, and I think it's something that I hope to continue on and set going forward.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask about the upcoming season. Obviously, team got to the finals last year, came up a little bit short. Great year nonetheless. Lost to a very good team that ended up winning the Schmaltz Cup. So that tells you what the league is all about here. It's one of the best leagues in the province. Some of the off-season stuff that went on, and how excited are you to get going?
We're very excited. Of course, we just started camp a week ago, and you know what we got looking forward to. I think we have a pretty solid core that we're returning. We put a few new guys into place. We're still looking to fill a few spots. You know, and going back to last year, I mean, we run into a few key injuries in the playoff run with 3 of our best defensemen being out for, you know, game 5, 6, actually 4, 5, 6. And, you know, we lost to 3 guys that are former players of ours. So they have that mentality as well. But, you know, hopefully we can put things together this year. We can get back on the winning track. And, you know, we're really looking forward to it. So we're excited to get things going.
I think it's a great rivalry. Lakeshore, Essex, again, I think 2 of the premier teams in all of the province. So it's great for the fans in this area. I had a blast covering the finals with you guys. Golf clubs have been put away, or you try to still squeeze in a little bit here?
Actually, before I come out here today, I played another 18 this morning. So no, I'm going to get as many rounds as I can before the hockey takes control over everything. The weather's still nice, so. But my main focus is obviously on this hockey team and making sure things are done correctly and we're on the right path to some success.
And if the Saudi tour calls you, you can't go, no matter how much money they throw at you, okay, Coach? You're stuck here.
I win more money off my buddies at Bellevue than I will that Greg Norman's going to pay me.
There you go. One of the good guys for sure, Coach Jamie McDermott. Good luck this season, Coach. We'll see you throughout the year, and congrats on tonight.
All right, thanks a lot, Dom. Pleasure. Always a pleasure talking to you, and thanks for having me.
Jamie McDermott, another great Essex 73 member. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll be talking to some more. It's the Essex 73's Night of Honors on the wall. We'll have more after this.
He was on the original 73's executive and was the team's assistant manager in that inaugural season. He took over as general manager in 74-75 and remained in that position until 82-83. Under his management, the 73's would win the league title 5 times, competed for the Schmalz Cup 5 times, and won the OHA championship 3 times. He is well known around arenas all over Ontario as a hockey scout. The Wall of Honor calls Mike Sadler. Mike is retired from the University of Windsor and is married to Christine. They have 1 child, Brent, and 2 grandchildren. Mike's favorite memories are many fond memories over the years and lifelong friendships made that Mike says he will always cherish. From the 1975 Cup-winning goal to the former players he often sees, still meets and speaks glowing of him as a 73, and that was the highlight of their life. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Mike Sadler.
A lot of tough acts to follow. Back about the time the 73 started, the famous NHL coach used this motivational message in his dressing room. Win today and you walk together forever. And I think, excuse me, that holds very true here. You know, the guys that I see, you know, down through the years, the guys I haven't seen, you know, since you played here. That's what bonds us together. And, you know, the stories are great. The memories, they get better every time you hear them. And I'm very fortunate to have been a part of it. I think back to, you know, the early days when if we didn't play Leamington in the playoffs, you know, we're in financial peril. And I think what the executive has done here in the last 20 years, including this weekend, you know, it's amazing. And lastly, I gotta acknowledge the support I got down through the years from my wife and son, who put up with a lot of late night phone calls and other questionable things I did, and for that I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. He played in the first season of the 73's existence and scored 40 goals as a 17-year-old. Mark played his next season in Junior A with the Windsor Spitfires and then went on to a 4-year collegiate hockey career with the Michigan Wolverines. He earned 4 varsity letters at the U of M and is a member of the Deekers Blue Line Club Hall of Fame. He was drafted by the New York Rangers of the NHL and the Edmonton Oilers in the WHA following his sophomore year. The Wall of Honor calls Mike Miller. Mark Miller. Mark is employed with Marcia McLennan and is married to Carrie. They have 2 children, Miles and Cord, along with 3 grandchildren, Elsie, Oliver, and Charlotte.
Well, thank you, everybody. Great to be here. It is Mark Miller, just to be clear. And I also want to mention that I do have 3 sons, although we mentioned 2, and the 3rd one is legitimate. My lovely wife, Carrie, can attest to that. His name is Blake. He's in Nashville, and I think he's on FaceTime right now. So I love you, son, just like I love my family and my other 2 sons and my lovely wife, Carrie. So it's great to be here. A lot of my comments are going to be similar to what Bruce had to say, and Don Chittle. I was here for 1 year, and it was just like an extension of Essex minor hockey. I mean, that first team in 73 was pretty much all Essex kids. And we all had the same upbringing. We all played together from Pee-wee, from this high, all the way through Bantam and Midget. And we had the same coaches, Don Turville, Bill Waldron, Bob Nace, Max Miller, you just name them all. And they all are truly the foundation, I think, of what the 73's have built. And I'd like to think that first team set the bar. The 73's organization is the envy of junior hockey programs in this province. And it's because of all of you. Yes, we're up here celebrating myself and my teammates and all the honorees, but really it's the culture of this town, the culture of hockey in this town of Essex, that it really propels people like me and the groups that came behind us to achieve the success they have. And we're lucky to have so many supporters like you and the people that I mentioned earlier that were really the foundation of what helped build our careers, and not just on the ice, but off the ice. And I think what you saw here tonight from everybody that was up here speaking, yeah, they were great hockey players, and they really did really well for this program, but it was the things that they've done outside the rink, the kind of people that we built here, and listening to Jamie about what's important for this program and the culture, the qualities, the priorities of the people that are part of this program is really what makes it different. And like I said, we really are, I say we because I'm part of this, we really are the envy of junior hockey in this province. So I want to thank Joe. This is something else. I didn't know what to expect either, but I am just blown away by the support last night and here tonight. The executive team, Wojo was up here about 2 hours ago, maybe 3, and he mentioned some of the founding fathers of this program, Herb Rounding, Mike Sadler, who I'm honored to be able to speak right after, my Uncle Max, Wayne Miller. I mean, I could go on, but it's really an honor to be here, and I couldn't be more thankful, and what a great night to be with everybody. I'm getting out of here because I'm about 4 people away from more booze and music, so have a great night.
Thanks, Mark. He played from 1981 to 82 and 83-84. He was a very talented goaltender who had a stint in the OHL with the Brantford Alexanders. He also played on the Brantford Mott's Clamato Senior A Allen Cup Championship team in 1987. His number 13 is retired along 3 others. The Wall of Honor calls Les Garrod. Les has been in the insurance business for years and currently works for All Risks Insurance Brokers. Les recalls a game in Wallaceburg where teammate Dan Mahan climbed out of the penalty box and gave a guy that was spitting on him a nose job. As coach and GM, Les never forgets the players and support staff for what they gave each night. Les can't be with us tonight, but sent a video acceptance speech.
Good evening. I hope you're all enjoying the activities of the weekend and the opportunity to reminisce with old teammates and friends. I'd like to say congratulations to the first class of inductees to the Essex 73's Wall of Honor and express my appreciation to be included in that group. As you're aware, the success on the ice isn't possible without the hard work and commitment of countless others who work behind the scenes. For those of you who are here as volunteers and fans and former sponsors of the organization, take the time to step back and know that every handshake, every hug, every smile, every story that you hear this weekend has been a product of that hard work. As a former player, coach, and general manager, I want to say thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you for the opportunity that you gave us to enjoy the game, the friendships, and the life lessons that helped us all become who we are today. Thank you once again, and everybody enjoy your weekend.
To accept the honor on Les's behalf is teammate Gord Davison.
So for those of you that couldn't read Les's lips there at the beginning, he said that probably the one best player he ever played with was Gord Davison. At least that's what I heard. I was standing next to Scott. I said, is that what he's saying? He said, yeah, absolutely. Anyway, that little story, it's so funny because Fluffy Mahan and I were talking about that last night. And this whole weekend, like to sit in the dressing room with you great guys. I mean, you guys paved the way for us. And to have my brother here, Double D, like, it's like, and we still got golf tomorrow, so it's not done, fellas. And thanks to Joe, like, when Joe kind of told me what was going on, it was great. But anyway, I had the pleasure of playing with Lester since we were kids. You know, growing up in Essex minor hockey, like, he was it. I never had the privilege of playing with the Chittles and the Gagnons that played net, but Les Garrod, I'll tell you, was the real deal. He was a great goaltender, and But getting back to that story, so yeah, we're in Wallaceburg, and I'm in the penalty box, hard to believe, with Fluffy, and I hear this guy go, and he hawks on Mahan's shirt. And Fluff goes, "Who the F just spit on me, Odie?" And this guy in a blue jean jacket goes running up about 8-10 steps. And I goes, "I think it's that guy in that blue jean jacket, Fluff." Well, in Wallaceburg Arena, they had a hatch door where the guy would come in and crawl into the penalty box. Out goes Fluff, and there's sparks flying on his skates. He goes up 12 rows, and he's got the guy like this. He goes, "Odie, is this the guy?" I'm like, "Yeah." And it was like, the whole arena just stopped and went, "What is going on?" But anyway, so I'm on behalf of Les Garrod, though, again, Les was a great teammate, and anyway, I'm going to probably keep this at my house.
Thanks, Gord. He is the only 73's general manager to ever win 6 titles. He went about his work professionally, and he is one of the most modest men you will meet. Prior to taking the GM job in 2011, he was an executive member for several years. His father, Max, is a founding executive member of the 73's, along with his brother, Wayne. He operated the family sporting goods store for 47 years, and prior to that, he was a fan favorite and a legend as a player with the Windsor Spitfires. The Wall of Honor calls Scott Miller. Scott's favorite memories, the Game 7 road win in Port Hope to win the Schmalz Cup in 2015. Scott admits that he was fortunate enough to be surrounded by a great coaching staff, supportive executive members, and great fans. Every part of his 6 years as a general manager of the most successful Junior C team in Ontario. Scott Miller.
Thank you. Joe, all I can say, Joe, is wow. What a weekend this has been. Joe, you've got your recognition, but I have to say it too. It's been a pleasure working with you. Great job. It was a great honor to be recognized for the 6 seasons I was able to be involved with the 73's as a GM. My father and my brother were part of the founders who put a vision of a hockey club representing our community in motion, giving local players a chance to continue and prove their hockey skills. Under the leadership of first Jim Peck, but then Mike Sadler, and of course Prp, the team was an instant success, paving the way for many great 73 memories, win or lose. I want to thank the 73's executives for giving me the opportunity to help lead the most historic and successful organization in Junior C hockey. Thank you for your support. For those members leaving the club, Gord, Jimmy, Phil, and now John, you will be hard to replace, trust me, and they do need to be replaced. My first job as manager in 2011 was to hire a coach who could continue with the many 73 members, GMs, coaches, staffs, and over 850 players had began. I want to thank my selection, Gil Langlois, for accomplishing that feat while continuing to strengthen a winning tradition. The staff Gil and myself put together, many for all 6 seasons I was here, and many are still there, a few, were motivated to teach young players to not just to win, but to play this great game the way it was meant to be played, and carry the lessons hockey can teach you about life forward with them. Thanks to my friend Gil, as well as all of our staff, who were so very important to achieve this accomplishment. I want to thank all the great sponsors and the fans who supported us. No other team in the PHGL can boast about how many loyal spectators fill the seats on a regular basis in Essex and on the road. A special thanks to all the players who wore the orange and black proudly. Not just great players, but more importantly, great, great individuals. Who were able to mix hockey skills, life skills, and education requirements, which this program boasts about. You play for the 73's, you better get your education. That's part of it. And they were always granted the right to go to school. If you miss a game, you miss a game. School is important. I want to thank my wife, Carol, for supporting me in this endeavor. Following many years when I was involved with baseball, when I was away a little bit, every Labor Day weekend, you know, blah, 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 every Wednesday night, every Sunday, no big deal. But I want to thank Carol for putting up with me and my family. Good luck to Jamie and Mike and all their staff and all their great players. The team came a long way last year, and I know I can visualize the Schmaltz Cup returning to Essex in the very near future. Lastly, I want to thank the man who was responsible for the celebration, Joe Garrod, for the many hours. You have no idea how many hours. I do, because I was with him a lot, and he's nuts. And the work he put in to make success. Congrats to all the inductees and future inductees. There's still lots of room on the wall up there for all you young kids. If there's any players here tonight, and the players of the past who will be up there. If you played a role here and were a great player and a great person, you will be up there. Thank you.
Well said, Scott. He posted a regular season goals against average of 2.04, fourth best all-time goalies who have played 50 or more career games. Only one other goaltender in 73's history, Bob Chittle, has ever won 2 Schmaltz Cup. The Wall of Honor calls Ryan Roach. Ryan worked 11 years for Vollmer Construction and the last 2 years at Whitfield Welding. He is married to Michelle and has 2 children. Of his favorite memories, the second Schmaltz Cup in 2005, getting a shutout in Game 7 of the final against Grimsby, and the future NHLer Steve Mason. We shook hands, he said, and I remember telling Steve, "You better go somewhere, kid, so I can tell everyone I beat your ass." And sure enough, he did.
True story. Thank you, Mark. First of all, I just want to congratulate all the members that are on the wall. I'm truly humbled to be up there with you and all of the great Essex 73's. It's quite an honor. I want to thank my parents for all your money, time, sacrifices that you've done in your lives to make my life what it is today. And here I am up here, and you're a big part of that. I want to thank you. I want to thank my wife, kids, and all the family that's here supporting me. You put up with me and all my hockey craziness over the years, so thank you. My coaches, my teammates, let's be honest, without all of you, I would not be here. We had some great teams, and this award is a reflection of those great seasons we had in Essex. I want to thank all the selection committee, the volunteers, the fans that have come out to support the Essex 73's. What a weekend. This has been such a blast for me, and I really want to thank all of you for putting this together. Being an Essex 73 holds a real special place in my heart. Not only because of the championships, the friendships I've made, lifelong friendships, but the memories, but this is also the place where I met my wife. So I don't think I would be up here today if I didn't play for the 73's, and I just want to thank everybody that was involved in getting me here. It's truly an honor to be named on the Essex 73's Wall of Fame. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. One of the best all-around players to ever wear a 73's jersey. He was team captain in 2006 and is the only 73's player to be awarded the MVP 3 times. Who knows how many more points he could have added if he didn't focus so much on his defensive game. He's a fan favorite to watch and a pain in the side for many teams in Ontario. The Wall of Honor welcomes R.J. Hotz. RJ is married to Jamie, and they have 3 children. He's employed at A&A Marine Foods. His favorite memories, 2 Schmaltz Cup championships, one as a player in 05 and one as an assistant coach in 09 are his favorite memories. He points to the 08-09 team accomplishment of 59-1-1-1 record as another. RJ?
I'm not much of a talker, so I'll make this short and sweet. First off, I'd like to thank the selection committee for this weekend. You did an awesome job. Put a lot of hard work into this. Secondly, I'd like to congratulate all the fellow inductees. And it's an honor to be a part of this inaugural year. There's a lot of great players over the years. You had a lot of players to choose from, and to be one of those inaugural inductees, it's quite the honor. I'd like to thank the organization and the executive for everything you guys have done over the years. You put a lot of hard work into putting this team on the ice, and I'd like to thank my parents, obviously. For everything you've done for me growing up. You put a lot of time, effort, and money for me to play, a lot of travel, a lot of sacrifices, and I thank you for that. To my wife and kids and my in-laws, thank you for supporting me here today. And of course, my wife, well, then girlfriend, now wife, who supported me through my playing days as well. So I'd like to thank my fellow teammates over the years. Growing up in Essex, it was always a dream to play for the 73's. And to be able to play for the 73's with a lot of my good buddies and friends that I grew up playing minor hockey with. It's quite an honor, and it makes it a lot more fun, that's for sure. So I'd like to thank you guys. Some of you guys are here today. Yeah, so thanks, Joe, for this weekend. You did an awesome job. And
Thanks, RJ. Our next honoree is the 73's all-time leader in career assists and points. He holds the 73's single-season record for goals in a season with 66 and points in a season with 134, both set in 81-82. He holds the Great Lakes Junior Hockey League scoring record for goals and points in a season, a record that may stand forever. The Wall of Honor calls Dave Anthony. Dave is married to Karen. They have 1 child, Scott, and he's self-employed. So please welcome back to Essex, where he traveled from overseas for this weekend, all the way from Blackpool, England. 73's all-time leading scorer. Give it up for Dave Anthony.
I will be short. I'd just like to thank my mom, who's still here, Perp and Wally, who put up with a lot of me, especially my last year, because I was a so-and-so. And there's a lot of good people. Joe, who organized all this, I'm dead happy to be nominated. And I hope everybody has a good evening, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave. He was the next Chittle family member to burst onto the scene when all the teams thought they were done with the Chittle clan in Essex. The younger brother of Len, he ranks 4th on the 73's all-time career list with 137 and 6th on the career points list with 225. The Wall of Honor calls Guy Chittle. His favorite memories, he says, hard to pick one, but Guy remembers a feeling the day he opened a letter from Mike Sadler, an invitation to attend a tryout for the 73's. That letter was a dream come true.
Hello, everyone. How about a round of applause for this gentleman over here who's done a fantastic job here tonight. congratulations to all the inductees here today. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank the town of Essex and all the hardworking people from the past and here today, behind the scenes, all the families who have helped create the Essex 73's. It is a very real honor to be standing up here today. Thank you, Wall of Honor Selection Committee. The 3 years that I played for the 73's with all the fans cheering us on, game in and game out, winning or losing, were 3 of the best years of my life. Pretty tough to pinpoint my favorite memory. So many fun things happened over the 3 years. I was very fortunate to be teammates with some very special hockey players like Dave Anthony and Al Reaume, along with many, many, many others over those 3 years. Thank you, Dave Prpich, Dave Moore, and all your staff members over those 3 years for guiding and challenging us all to be the best we could be, both on and off the ice. I turned 13 years old in 1973. I didn't have to turn the TV on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday nights anymore to find a hockey player to inspire me. All I had to do was go to the barn in Essex on Tuesday nights, and there was always 20 or so players wearing the black, orange, and white that all inspired me for 7 years, all 7 of those teams. I can't thank them enough for what they've done and what they've created, and all this town and all the people in this room and many, many hundreds and hundreds of other families out there that I know have contributed to what this organization has become. There's no I in the word team here. There never will be, and that's why it's going to be successful for another 50 years minimum. The one moment that stands out in my mind happened long before I became a 73's player, like this young man right over here in front of me. It was the day that I opened a letter from Mr. Mike Sadler. That letter was an invitation to attend the 73's tryouts. It was a dream come true for me. Thank you so much for that letter, Mike. Enjoy your evening, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Guy. Guy mentioned Tuesday nights, orange and white this coming Tuesday. Preseason the next 2 Tuesdays after that. The 73 start playing hockey right here on September 20th. My name is Mark Knight. I had a great time. Thanks for allowing me into your arena and meet all these great people. This is 50 years of 73's hockey, and this is a great starting point to go forward. And this man is the man you need to thank, Joe Garrod.
Thank you very much, Mark. No. Thank you. It was a great night, lots of emotions. That's what it's all about, getting back together. And a lot of you guys haven't seen each other in years. A lot of the fans and your old neighbors, they haven't seen you in years. And I hope that if we get anything out of this weekend, it's the opportunity to rekindle a lot of those friendships that we had from the past. So I thank everybody for coming out. I know a lot of it's coming back on me, and my wife and my family think I'm crazy. I do it because it's just what I do. I mean, a lot of people think they see me running around and think it's, I got my hair getting pulled out. I don't got any anyways, but to me, it's what I do. So I'm happy to do it for you. My selection committee did a great job in selecting our first 36. And like Scott said, this is going to go on and on and on. We want the wall to mean something, so obviously, you know, we want to set a bar that the wall means something. So I wish everybody that didn't get in this year all the best in the years to come. And like Scott said, I mean, if you had the numbers and you had the heart and you were the right type of person, you're going to find your way on that wall eventually. So to Mark Knight, thank you very much, Mark.
No problem, Joe. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. To the executive, listen, we're a small group, but we were all over this place this weekend. I mean, I can't thank you guys enough. The town of Essex, I mean, the arena, everything we did this weekend, the town of Essex donated. So a big hand to the town of Essex, please. It's all about sponsorships and it's all about partnerships, and we're happy the town of Essex has always been behind us as well. Keith Crowder for donating this to the 73's. I know this is, or Bruce, sorry. I know this is something special. You've had it for a long time, and we're going to keep care of it. We've got so much memorabilia gathered over the last few months. We bought some more trophy cases. We're going to take care of this stuff. We're going to rotate stuff around. One of the biggest things we purchased this year was a kiosk, and we didn't have it up and running this week, and it's partly my fault because I just ran out of time. But come back, enjoy that area up there, look at the plaques, look at the memories. That kiosk is going to be very interactive. You're going to be able to touch people's names, go to their bios, get their pictures. So, like, we do try to go above and beyond, and that's what the 73's have done since the beginning. We try to run an organization like it's a professional team. We try to set the standard across Ontario. You want to be successful, you want to win, you better do what the 73's do. Thank you all for coming out. I hope you enjoyed the weekend. I hope you enjoyed the night. We got some golf tomorrow. The induction ceremony and speeches are done, but we've got a night ahead still with great music from British Beat 66. Enjoy the evening. We got 50-50 to do shortly, and the band will be on soon. Thanks again.